One of the things I wanted to bring up was the fact that the Maximus DAO perp pools. For those of you who don't know, a little while ago, a group of community members, ex-community members, got together. I forget their Twitter handles at the moment, but basically, they formed the Maximus DAO, kind of fucking. I don't know if it's a group or that's the right thing to call it. But anyways, what they did was that they created a smart contract, and they allowed essentially a bunch of people to pool a bunch of hex together and stake it all at once, all together, in order to get bigger pays better bonus and the longer pays better bonus as well. And so what came of this was Base, which is a pooled together 1-year stake, Trio pooled together 3-year stake, Lucky pooled together 7-year stake, Deci pooled together 10-year stake, and Maxi, which was the 15-year long stake. Now, for whatever goddamn reason, Deci very significantly is at a 49% discount over Hex right now. So P-Deci is about 45%, and E-Deci is about 47% discount over Hex. So let's take a look at Hex on Pulse Chain right now. And we can see that Hex on Pulse Chain is about 28% above 2 cents. And if we take a look at Deci, this is about roughly 45% below 2 cents. Now, something you got to understand, 1 Deci is ultimately redeemable for 1 hex. So the way, again, these perp pools work is that, if you're in Base after 1 year, you'll be able to give or deposit your 1 Base token into the smart contract and receive 1 hex token back plus the interest. With Trio, you after 3 years, you deposit your Trio in and you get your principal plus the interest. Same thing. So with Deci, let's say you have a million Deci tokens, for example, right? After 10 years, you would deposit your million Deci into the smart contract, and you would receive your principal plus all the interest you earn for 10 years, plus the bigger pays better bonus, the longer pays better bonus. So there is great utility in the Maximus DAO pools. It allows you to get exposure to these longer term hex stakes with a larger pays better bonus, while having the privilege of remaining liquid and a token that you can sell whenever you want. And so, in my opinion, it seems like if you have the added feature set of having the exposure to a hex stake while at the same time being able to remain liquid and sell the token whenever you like, that added feature set would intuitively lead me at least to believe that there ought to be a premium on 1 Base token, 1 Trio token, 1 Lucky token, 1 Deci token, 1 Maxi token over 1 Hex token, because again of the added feature set, at least potentially. That's like the theoretical idea, right? But for whatever goddamn reason, Deci most significantly is trading at a massive, massive discount over P-Hex. And it's leading me to ask the question out loud. And this is a question I want to propose to you guys as well. I'm not fully confident in the conclusion myself, but it seems to me like there is potentially speaking an amazing arbitrage opportunity. Because again, 1 Deci is equivalent to 1 Hex plus the interest earned for 10 years, plus the privilege, plus the added feature of being able to sell that token, which represents your stake in that pool whenever you like. So it's like a massive value add-on, but it's trading at a massive discount. It seems to me like there's a chance that the market is mispricing and misunderstanding these products. Now, so some to understand, right? Like, it seems to me like Deci has been trading at a discount over Hex for quite some time. So, like, for example, if we look at the peak here, the peak for Deci on Pulse Chain on the 4-hour chart was just over 2 cents, like 2.25. But the peak for Hex on Pulse Chain was just over 3 cents. So it seems like Deci has been trading at a discount over Hex for quite some time. So it's an open question whether this arbitrage opportunity wherever will ever be closed. And there's a couple considerations we need to consider. Number one, the market for these Maximus DAO perp pools is relatively illiquid. Now that has been improving thanks to Fux.io, where Fux has been greatly improving the liquidity situation. But this discount could be due to simply a lack of market awareness. Like, guys, what we have here is like a 45% discount. So like Hex is at 2285. So if we measure here from 2285, guys, like this is 22. Go back to 2222. Around, yeah, like around here. 27% down. Like for us to pump to 2285, 2285. That's nearly a 40% pump. So for Deci to catch up to the price of P-Hex, so for P-Deci to catch up to the price of P-Hex is about 38, 40%. I'm not measuring exactly, so it's roughly 40% pump from here. So I do not understand why this arbitrage opportunity hasn't been closed yet, because this looks like a screaming opportunity where you could potentially get 40%, 45% more Hex than you would have otherwise if the arbitrage closes, if the price meets each other. And that's an open question. It's not guaranteed that that will happen. Therefore, there's a risk. So what I personally have done is I've chosen to allocate 25% of my liquid Hex into Deci on the off chance that maybe one day they reach parity. Because again, one Deci is equivalent to one Hex plus a bunch of interest, plus the feature set of getting exposure to a Hex stake while remaining liquid. Like, it seems to me like these things should be at a premium, but for some reason they're trading at a discount, which again makes me think that perhaps the market is mispricing these things. And Tintop brings up a good point as well. He's saying, and Maxi and Hadron multiplier, some people are reluctant because extra contract risk. That's true. People may be waiting for base to see if the contract pays out. So this is another good point as well. So like, why not ape in? I just mentioned I only did 25% of my liquid Hex. And there's a good reason, because there's some risk, right? We mentioned the perp pools are relatively illiquid. Also, we don't know with 100% certainty that the smart contract for these perp pools are 100% Loctite good to go. We suspect they are, because many people have taken a look at the code. Many people seem to think that the developers kind of know what they're doing. But at the end of the day, anything's possible if it's not battle tested. So perhaps what a lot of people are doing are waiting for the base pool to expire and for that to pay out the interest and for it to work, in order for people to, I think, maybe feel more comfortable buying these pools. So last time I checked, the base pool, which is a 1-year stake, expires, I believe it's this October of this year. And so perhaps that people are waiting to see if that pool expires, if it pays out the interest correctly, if everyone gets their Hex back, if everything works correctly, because right now this technically is an unproven concept. So it could be that maybe around October, once the if the pool pays out all the principal plus the interest correctly, it could be that's what it takes to give the market the confidence it needs in order to feel comfortable buying these things. And maybe that's what it would take for us to see parity. So I want to make it clear that if we do see parity, you could get 40% more Hex than you would have otherwise if Deci gets parity with P-Hex. But it's an open question. We might not ever get that parity. Again, the market might just so happen to place a premium on the underlying asset, and they might consider the all these derivative options with a Hadron, Icosa stakes, all this stuff to be perhaps too high risk, and perhaps that's why there's a discount. Maybe once in October once the base smart contract expires and pays out the principal plus interest, maybe that's what it'll take for there to for the gap to close a bit. But it's ultimately an open question. There is a risk, but there is the possibility for this upside. So because there is kind of that open risk to reward ratio here, where the reward is maybe getting 40% more on your hex, but the risk is that maybe the discount, the premium, the arbitrage opportunity never closes, or the market always remains relatively illiquid, or there is smart contract risk and the smart contract's broken in some way that we can't anticipate and doesn't pay out the principal plus the interest. Maybe once we get that first base stake opening, maybe that'll be kind of the catalyst necessary to close that gap. We don't know what it'll take, but given the potential for this gap to close, especially on a theoretical level, that's why I've chosen to put a quarter of my liquid hex into Deci, just because this 40% discount, folks. Like, if the smart contract's not broken, I don't understand a logical reason for there to be this much of a discount. Maybe the market really places maybe really doesn't like hex derivatives, like these hex derivative options, and think like they're too high risk. Maybe that's it. I also think it's partially a lack of market awareness. Maybe people don't know of this opportunity, whatever it may be. It just like a 40%. I can understand maybe the difference between E hex and P hex, because those are they're on two different networks. But we're talking about P Deci. We're talking about P hex. One P Deci, one Deci on Pulse Chain is redeemable for one hex on Pulse Chain, plus a bunch of interest. Again, plus the added feature set of having the liquidity to be able to sell whenever you want, plus having the exposure of a hex stake. Like, guys, whenever you add value to a financial product, typically that brings a premium to it, not a discount. So, like, it's an open question here as to why there is this discount. And if this discount ever goes away, there's potentially a massive, 40 some odd percent opportunity here, very potentially. But again, there's a lot of risk here as well. So, those are some of the things we got to consider. Tintop is saying, by the way, Tintop, I've seen you around for quite a long time, so shout out to you, man, or person, female. I don't want to assume gender, for being here on the live stream. Yield on top of yield is tasty too. I staked some perpetuals in Fox. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Like, if you have a bunch of, let's say, base, trio, lucky, Deci, you can go and provide liquidity on Fox, and I think they're paying a pretty good APR last time I checked. Cha-ching, please stop advertising the insane discount on perps to every broke pleb. Save that for your Patreon group. In fact, I did. I mentioned this to my Patreon group first. So that's another thing. I'll typically mention things to the Patreon group first, and then, the next day after, I'll bring it up on live stream. So for those of you interested in supporting me who can easily do so, that's kind of a part of the value proposition. Tintop saying that contract risk has kept people out of Hadron too. This perp discount is an opportunity. The T-share rate you're buying at will pay dividends as well. So this is something else to consider. So the Deci, all these Maximus DAO pools, they went live about 8-10 months ago, something like that. So you're buying in at the T-share rate from 8-10 months ago, which is at a much superior rate. So, like, superior T-share rate, bigger pays better bonus, longer pays better bonus. The added liquidity of being able to sell whenever you want. It theoretically, on a theoretical level, does not make sense for this product to have a discount. In fact, these products, when you have added features, should have a premium. I suppose it's maybe the risk, the lack of liquidity, the lack of market awareness that we have this discount. But on a logical, theoretical level, there shouldn't be this discount. There should be a premium. So, and let's say one day that, come October, come December, let's say base, the smart contract opens and closes, and it does pay out the principal plus the interest. And, the market becomes more confident, and the market becomes more aware. What if we now have a premium on the perp pools? I mean, we're talking about a 40% pump, a 40% add on your hex just to reach parity. What if one day there's a premium? We don't know. It might not ever happen. There's a great deal of risk which is why I'm doing only 25% of my liquid X to Deci. But again, there is that opportunity. That's why I wanted to bring it up.